Good morning. Welcome back. Let's see. Check. All right, we're good to go. Hope you all had a lovely weekend. It is March 6th, second week of the new month, so we should hopefully get some decent price action this week. Right. Let's get these vibes going. All right. There we go. Cool. All right. Without further ado, welcome back again. And per usual, I'm going to do my 30-minute market breakdown and then hop off and trade with our Zoom group. If you're looking to join this lovely group of people, VantTradingForex.com, and yeah, you can come trade live with us. But taking a look at the Dixie, just kidding, taking a look at what news events we have today. I was keeping you on your toes there. We have factory orders at 10 o'clock in the morning Eastern time. Will it move it in the market? Maybe not. Who knows? I mean, it's a yellow folder on Force Factor, medium folder on my FX books. Probably not, to be honest. But we'll see. You never know. So just keep in mind that at 10 o'clock you do have factory orders. And if you're trading the CAD, you have IVPMI, which is a red and orange folder. So, but that'll be it today. So pretty light day of economic events going on, scheduled at least. So let's move on into the market analysis. And all right, so looking at the Dixie, I sent out my weekly market prep video to the group, and really, I mean, the Dixie, nothing's changed. Good morning, Shanine. Happy to have you. Good to see you. Hope you had a great weekend. Dixie still chilling here in this range. You can look at it one of two ways. You can look at it as, okay, we've had this nice bullish run here, so we're going to do this flag before we continue higher. And if you look at the weekly chart had this nice bearish close. So you can look at it one way, or you can look at it as, okay, we had this nice bullish run, ran into a lot of resistance here. And so what are we going to do? Maybe sell off, right? So we're going to consolidate before we sell off. So we don't know yet. So I'm not going to have a directional bias, so to speak, for the Dixie until we break out of this range below 104,200 or above 105,387. However, for the day, for today, I expect us to have some bullish price action. Last night, overnight session, we came down, back down to these lows, respected it, pushed up higher. Now we're sitting above the opening gap that we had from last night over the weekend. So looking for a potentially bullish Dixie today. Good morning, fam. Good morning. Yeah. So with that being said, I don't think the Dixie will have too much weight on the markets today, given the current state of price action. Let's take a look at the equities and see what they're giving us. US 30 hasn't really moved yet. Looking at the daily chart on this nice bullish move from this consolidation low. Looking for it to come down to retest this breakout. Looking at the 4-hour, if we draw our fibs, 38.2% retracement, first area of a higher low will be right in here at this previous exhaustion point, previous breakout point right here as well. So ideally, we see sells in the equities today for then potential longs going forward and then into the rest of the week. And this also retest point happens to be Friday's exhaustion here. Buyers came in, took over the sellers, broke out pretty strong. And so I'd like to see a retest higher low. So we have this low that we're sitting at, this previous support, running through these descending highs, kind of chopping on its way down here. So idea for the equities, because I want to see lower price action before I look for longs. I want to see a break 33,300. Give us some kind of wick to the upside, and then I'll take sells on the way down, and we'll look for a push to the downside. Depending on what time it is, and if we have volume, it should push through these zones no problem if we're in a volume time, and ultimately come back down into this strong area of indecision that we saw during the open on Friday. So, yeah, that's the idea we're going to take for the equities today. Looking at the metals, again, overall, on the higher time frames, I'm looking for longs. But currently for the day, might end up looking for shorts to catch those longs into the rest of the week. Good morning, Fred. So taking a look at the 4-hour chart. 4-hour chart is now coming back down to retest this previous breakout here, this previous point of intersection with this descending trend line. If we take a look at our fibs, if we want to see an overall retracement from peak to trough here, because the last, I guess, lower high point, swing point is this area right in here. We just broke it Friday. Didn't get a retracement yet as a higher low. So if we keep trailing our Fibonacci's, I would like to now see a retracement back towards this previous area from Wednesday and from Friday, where we've had a lot of, I guess, tug of war, so to speak, for the buyers and sellers. Sellers stepped in here, took over for temporarily. Buyers came in, buyers stepped in again, and took it up and controlled it. So buyers are in control anywhere above this area here. And so that's why I'd like to see a retracement to the downside here and then continue higher with the overall higher time frame outlook. So as far as looking at gold today, I like the sell idea. If we can get a push towards 1852, towards VWAP area, maybe even up here towards VWAP. If you take a look, we had these nice highs here from Friday and the overnight session. Broke through, bearish engulfing, had a push down. And so now what I want to see is a retest of that liquidity grab for then a continuation down to where I'm looking for my overall buys. So sell idea for gold today is going to be right around VWAP. 1852, 1853 for then sells, and I'm not going to look for my overall move around it was around like 1838, but I'll probably look for something right in this area, because I don't want to, it's not like, I know that price is going to come down to 38.2. It's just, it's a probability game here. And so, but if I'm going to go against my overall higher time frame bias, I'm going to just try to take it where it makes sense, which is going to be this 1842 rejection point on the 1-hour chart. And that'll be that retest of this breakout. So my sell idea will look something like this for gold today. It's going to be something like this. So it's going to be about a 2.5 to 1. I could have a better risk reward if I brought my stops down, but we'll see how price action looks. I may end up doing around a 3-to-1 with the stops right around here. My point being is I don't want price to really come back above this point here, because then it's breaking above VWAP. It's breaking back into this range where we had this liquidity grab. It's breaking back above this whole entire retest point. So it should be creating a lower high rejection in this area. And so I might end up putting my stops a little lower, right around like where these this I guess the close wasn't here, because in my eyes my trade is still invalidated if we come back up here, even though we're not technically breaking the highs based off of the type of trade I'm taking. So it'll be around a 3-to-1, right around, right? So going to look something like that for gold today. Taking a look at oil. Oil's playing out exactly how I was expecting it to. So potentially, so we had a news-driven Friday move here, right? It dips lower and then ended up soaring back higher. And that was based off of, I believe it was when Emirates was talking to Saudi Arabia about leaving, or I guess, yeah, leaving OPEC. And so we had initial drive to the downside, and then it ended up pushing higher. And so with this news-driven move, I was expecting us to come down to retest this move to then potentially continue higher with the continued volume we had here. So with oil today, could potentially look for longs. It's looking pretty weak overnight, but that was expected to retrace this move here. And so if we can see a higher time frame, maybe double bottom to then continue higher, then I'll take it. Otherwise, I'm not interested, because I don't want it to keep just dump into the downside and me just catching a falling knife here. So I'm going to have to wait to see some kind of basing here before I actually do step in. But if it does base and it does look like buyers are coming in, then I'll look for some type of run back up towards highs, and we'll look for a nice move there in oil. Taking a look at pound yen, it is still chopping around in this nasty range. Nasty range here. So this is definitely a no trade range. I'm not even going to consider or think about taking any pound yen trades while we're in this range here. So you know the drill. Breakthrough, retest longs, breakthrough, retest shorts. That's the only thing I see for pound yen, because I'm not interested in this dog shit here. Daily chart consolidating as well the last week. So naturally, the weekly chart left a big rejection wick and left, a very weak bullish candlestick. And so that's showing you that there's a lot of sellers in here. Clearly, you can see this area that has a lot of sellers. And so overall in the higher time frames, I'm looking for sells. I'm looking for maybe one more pop up and then drop. But regardless, I'm not trading this range, so I'll wait to see what price action gives us. I'll let it lead, and then I'll enter. So might not end up trading today, but we'll see. The levels I'm watching is 163 is the lows, and 164 is the highs. And that's going to be it. So we'll add our alerts. Gold. I'm going to add an alert for gold as well. And US 30. I forgot to add my alerts this morning. All right, looking at pound AUD. Actually playing out exactly as expected overnight. I talked about it in my video that I posted for the group. Is that we have this area of resistance, area of support, where we had this pretty strong rejection wick here from Tuesday. And so that's where I was looking for pound AUD to retrace for potential sells. Looking at the higher time frames, had this pretty big rejection. I mean, we broke through highs, grabbed this liquidity, left another wick to retest, and so we dropped off from there. We did come back down to retest this area of support. And if you look at the overall time frame, we did break this high and created new structure. So if you draw through the Fibonacci's here, we just retested this 38.2% retracement. So it could very well continue higher. However, what I've found more often than not is before we continue higher, we get some type of move like this, and then we go. we get a secondary retest of that higher low. So that's what I'm going to look for. I'm going to look for sells in this area for then potentially a higher low to form. However, I'm just going to wait till the higher low confirms, and then we'll play it that way. But looking at pound AUD for sells in this area here, we had pretty strong move, big rejection of this zone on the daily. Came back in here, rejected it. Now we're back in here again. So do we reject, or do we finally break through and continue higher and don't give us a higher low retest? So this is the zone that's going to be make or break for pound AUD. So I'm going to play it. It's consolidating right here. So I'm going to have to see a lower time frame, break a structure, retest, and look for sells. And we'll look for that continuation on the downside. If we do break higher, very clean range looking left. So I will consider a break, retest, and continuation up towards to fill this move from Tuesday. So we're going to add our alerts on pound AUD for both sides of the breakout here. Pound USD, not interested. I talked about it in my video again. Not interested in this range because we are getting tighter and tighter in this wedge that I've been trading here. I've been trading the wedge exactly how you should be trading wedges. But now that we're getting so tight, it's at that point to where it's either going to break one way or break the other way. So I don't want to trade as it's getting this tight because it could go, any day now. So what you can see here is probably a continuation down, and then maybe we continue back up. But as it's getting so tight, the range gets smaller and you get more chop, right? So for pound USD, I think there's a big play coming, but I think it's going to have to wait until we do break out of this wedge, and then we can play that breakout one way or the other, depending on which way it wants to take us. AUD USD just consolidating here on the daily chart. Pretty strong support at this 67 even lows. Pretty strong resistance at 67,700 highs. So just consolidating, not trading this range. Not trading the range. It's been pretty choppy. So I'm going to wait till we break one way or the other, and then I'll trade AUD USD. I don't really like trading choppy ranges like this. Euro USD, looking at the 4-hour, had a nice bearish engulfing, lower high rejection here. So now we're retesting this high. We're a little over halfway through this 4-hour candlestick. But looking at the 2-hour, we do have support forming here and potentially continuation higher. So maybe we get another bullish engulfing and we continue higher. So this is a choppy range again for Euro USD. And I'll trade it again on a breakout of this range because there's no clear directional bias right now for Euro USD. So look for a breakthrough 1.06200 to the downside move, or wait for a breakthrough 1.06550 for a upside potential move back up into this previous wick here, or the downside potentially down into this range here. So we'll see what it gives us. I'll add my alerts on the top and bottom of the consolidation, and we'll just kind of play it as is. Let's see, add alert. UCAD daily in this ugly range, 4-hour in this range here, 1 hour. 1 hour is running into this pretty strong area where we've had a lot of wicks and a lot of rejection before. We had this previous break, bearish engulfing. So this area right here is going to be pretty heavy resistance. As you can see, pretty clean price action looking left here for the day. So potential sells for USD CAD. Although the dollar, I was looking for potential longs today. You got to remember, CAD is heavily influenced by oil, and I'm potentially looking for a very strong oil today. So we'll see what happens. I'm not gonna jump in on this, but I want to wait for like a 30-minute, 15-minute confirmation where we see bearish price action forming here, and then we can look for sells on the way down. Not really interested in buys because of this big rejection area, so only sells. However, I'm going to have to wait for some type of bearish price action and candlestick pattern to form. But it's entering a strong area of rejection, so we'll just wait and see. But that's going to be it for me for the market analysis. So I got my eyes on the Dow shorts through this bottom here. Got my eye on oil longs as we find support. Pound yen, no trading today. Pound AUD, potential sells or buys on a breakout of this consolidation. Pound USD, nothing. AUD USD, nothing. Euro USD, probably nothing today, but potential, we'll see. USD CAD, potential sells. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4 trade ideas today. We'll see what happens. Thanks, everybody, for hopping on the stream this morning on YouTube. It's a pleasure to see you every morning. Again, if you're looking for some farther, mentorship or help or live trading, you know where to find us, vanttradingforex.com. You can join the group. But I'm going to hop off now on the Zoom and trade with my fellows, my lovely friends over here. But have a great rest of your day, guys. And I hope to see you again tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. Peace.